Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal. And I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing well. I'm getting over a cold, but I think I'm over it, and that game helped. The
Mm-hmm.
Oilers won by, did you call it a billimeter? That,
Yeah,
that was the
millimeter.
difference in that first period goal being offside or not offside. And that was a key point in the game. The Oilers were up 1-0, and their video coach caught that millimeter mistake by the LA King being offside, and fortunately the goal was called back, because that could have been a completely different game, Bruce,
Oh,
if that
sure.
goal had not been called back. As it was, the Oilers won a very, very, very hard-fought game over a hated rival, Dustin Brown and the LA Kings. 2-1 victory. The Oilers had 11 grade A chances to 9 for the Kings. This was a close game.
It
Uh,
was.
and I found it a really interesting game. I thought the Oilers were going to win all along, but they had to battle extremely hard. So we're going to do our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast. And because it's an Oilers win, we're going to go with two good things each, as has become our custom, Bruce. It's a good custom.
Yeah, yeah, it's always nice to talk a little longer about a win, or at least be a little bit more positive about a win.
Have we ever
Sometimes the
done the
one good thing and one good bad thing isn't a very fair balance for the actual type of game that it is. So
Yeah.
2-1. I mean, that matches the score card, and that's basically all the NHL tonight. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-0.
Uh,
Very low scoring games all across the league tonight.
have we ever done two bad things? I think we have.
Yeah, we have.
All right. Okay. What's your
We
first good
actually,
thing?
one time we did 40 bad things, but we didn't actually number them as we went along, but
I think that was fairly recent.
it was.
Okay. Okay. What's your first good thing?
Well, it's got to be Mikko Koskinen.
Yeah.
Uh, what a bounce back performance by the big man who had a very poor showing in his last outing on Wednesday against Ottawa, allowing two very bad goals uh, and getting blown out and first time all year where he didn't finish a game. And Dave Tippett, as he did with Mike Smith earlier a couple of weeks ago, after Smith got bounced in the game in LA, he came right back with the next game, and Smith delivered a big performance and a win in Vegas. And this time around, Koskinen, he was the difference man. I mean, that game, Oilers would not have won that game with average goaltending. And
Austin Wagner, man, he's going to be
oh,
poor Austin Wagner.
he's going to be seeing like the 3 meter goalie in his
The 3 meter
dreams.
man.
Because he was just swallowing up pucks. I mean, I guess you could say and you probably did say that on the one they scored was a bit of a bad rebound.
Yeah.
But boy, did he make a lot of good saves along the way, and he really calmed things down. I thought the Oilers were a little bit anxious in their own zone, and Koskinen did hold and freeze a few pucks to try and calm down the flow of play. It would have worked better if the Oilers could ever win a face-off in their own zone, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But
Yeah.
they
Not.
were they were they were playing hang on Harvey hockey for a large part of the back portion of the game, and having a big stopper in there, a reliable stopper behind him, was a big part of it. And that, right down to stopping a deflection from the goal mouth with like 4 or 5 seconds to go in regulation. I mean, that's not really what you want to be seeing as a fan. But I mean, you do want to be seeing the save, obviously. But the chance was maybe 8 or 9 bells, maybe not the full 10, but it was dangerous enough for the situation it was.
And Dustin Brown just absolutely tagged
Oh,
that one-timer shot. Like it was
that
kind
was
of
a
on the edge,
rocket.
on the edge of the scoring chance zone. But when you look at it, it's like,
Oh,
whoa, that was a major,
yeah, that's
major scoring
that's
chance.
yeah. I mean, he got all of it, and he put it right inside the far corner. And Koskinen had to do the full 6'7" stretch to get the outside edge of his blocker on that one. That was a great save, and correctly identified by Louis DeBrusque, I think, as possibly his best save of the night. this was at a point where the Oilers were reeling a little bit. You know, they'd just given up the 2-1 goal a couple minutes before, and there was still like 4 minutes left, and nothing was in the bag at that point. And that was a huge, huge save in the scheme of things.
Sure was. Sure was. The 3 meter man. What a great nickname, eh? That's from Finland, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just
they
imagine,
actually call him that.
just imagine how comforting that would be to have the 3 meter man in net when he's playing well, as he has played in about 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 games this year, or, four out
Yeah,
of
he's been
five
good.
of his
He's
starts.
he's been good.
Just having that, like you look there and there's the biggest or one of the biggest goals in the NHL, like, and he's just a wall. There's nothing to shoot at, and his glove hand has been good enough this year. He made a number of good saves on the glove hand, although there was the one mistake. All right, my good thing will be Chris Russell. Bruce, I thought he had maybe the best defensive D-man game of the year that I've seen from an Oilers defenseman this year. It was just the sum total of all the little battles that he won, which I noticed all game long,
Hmm.
including one in the first period where the Oilers Larson he had a good game, Adam Larson, as it went
He did.
along, but he had an iffy game, I thought, in the first, handling the puck, and on that shift he had made a few bumbles. I think maybe he had iced the puck. Anyway, they were trapped in the zone, in the Oilers zone, and it was looking bad. Russell wins a battle and gets it out of the zone and draws a penalty, which
Yeah.
leads to the first power play and the first power play goal. And that was indicative of his entire night, just winning battle after battle after battle. Bruce, he is the most underrated Edmonton Oilers player, easily. All he does is stop the other team from scoring goals. And tonight he was just fantastic. He really was. We are going to miss this player. He's never been properly appreciated. We are going to miss this player when he's no longer on the team because his defensive play is so strong. And when he's on the left side, he's not such a terrible player moving the puck either, is he? Like you don't see he's not forced in those backhanded passes up the boards 3 or 4
Hmm.
times a game, and that
Yeah.
just makes him that much more effective a hockey player.
Yeah, although tonight I noticed that he did play a few shifts on his right side in the third period. They really curtailed Joel Pearson's ice time in the
Yes,
third
they did.
frame.
Yeah.
He only played a little over 2 minutes. And I noticed Russell taking a couple of extra shifts playing the right side with Clefbaum. And of course, anytime the Oilers get into an odd man scenario on the defense and somebody has to play both sides, Chris Russell's the man. And he's got so much experience at both positions. And I mean, to me, it's a positive to have that somewhere in your bag. You got to have it as a coach. And while he's the player takes his share of abuse and then some, I think that's an understatement. Um, I think his versatility is in some ways, something the coach has got to have, and his confidence in having a guy that he can switch back and forth from shift to shift in a 5-man rotation situation. Everybody switches partners in that scenario, but only one guy has to switch sides. And automatic choice for that is going to be Chris Russell every time.
I bet you the coaches love having Chris Russell on their team,
I'll bet
Bruce.
they do too.
Yeah. I bet you if you interviewed McClellan and Hitchcock and now Tippett, they'd all say that. So anyway, we won't get into all the criticism about him because it's just like neither here nor there. And
Well, a
we
lot of the criticisms of his contract, but I think the undervaluing of him as a player is I don't think it's right. Like
yeah.
he's not everybody's cup of tea in terms of the style of play he is, but man, he defends like a demon around the tough areas in his own zone. Like there's almost no such thing as a uncontested shot on his watch.
Alrighty. What is your what is your second good thing?
Well, I got to go with the other thing that won the Oilers the game, which is their power play. Two power plays in the first period, and I think they said it took them 52 seconds to put two pucks in the net. First one, they got a little bit of a lucky bounce off of Drew Doughty's skate, but it was a forced bounce. First of all, by Edmonton absolutely pouring on the pressure for the entire power play and setting up one play after another. And finally, Draisaitl tried to whiz a cross ice pass to chase on at the far point, and Doughty decided he better stick his foot in the way to intercept it, and he intercepted it right into his own net. In soccer, Leon wouldn't have got credit for that goal. Doughty would have. Would have been own goal, Drew Doughty.
Maybe not.
Well, the
Sometimes.
shot wasn't on the net until it hit him, and that's how they
Oh,
rule it in
okay.
soccer. Anyway, Leon will take the goal, and then the second power play was almost ridiculously easy. Just win the face off, cycle the puck a couple times and get it over to the McDavid, and boom, set up Chason for the tap in. And Chason, to his credit, he not only got his what I call his rubber stick on that shot, but he got his foot behind the stick, and he got enough on it that he was able to put it in the net. I've been seeing so many pucks going right through Chason's stick lately. Like
Maybe that's why he had his
he's in the
skate back.
right position, and he's smart. He plays. He
Yeah.
can't skate, but he gets in the good positions and he does good things. And but what his hands or his stick let him down a lot of times, and he's really been having trouble controlling the puck. But he controlled that one from about 1 foot out into the net, and that stood up as a game winner for Alex Jason, who wound up with a goal and assist on the night.
That first power play, Bruce, they had five grade A chances in 35 seconds. Like they went to town.
It was
They were
all over him.
dissecting the LA
Yeah.
Kings. Like that was that was as deadly as that power play has looked all year long. I mean, that was just we are going for it. We are scoring a goal. And both McDavid and Draisaitl came out with their feet flying tonight. They were both determined to win this game. And when you see that, I think that's like with every team, there's kind of tells of when they're going to be on the game and when they're not going to be on the game. And 2016-17, I thought the tells were if Maroon, Cassian, or Lucic had a huge hit in the
Right.
first period, that was one of the signs that this team was going to win. This year, it seems like if McDavid and Draisaitl both have their feet going early in the game,
Good
the Oilers
luck,
might
other
win.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck to the other guys. Okay, my other good thing was the Oilers forecheck tonight.
Hmm.
I noticed lots of strong cycling of the puck. I mean, Draisaitl and Jujar Kara, the Kings were kind of bouncing off them like they were hitting from T-Rex to Triceratops. It was not, and then like there was other players, Nygaard, Sheehan, Haas, Chason, what else? Patrick Russell, Granlund, Granlund. He was really good on the forecheck. If Granlund keeps doing that, Bruce, he's going to make a lot of fans start to like his game. So I really liked that when they had it going. Mainly, it was most noticeable in the second period. But that was one of the best forechecking efforts, and I think this is when the Oilers are at their best, is when they're playing that game, especially against teams like the Kings, where the D-men have some struggles moving the puck. And if they can play that game against those teams, this is a difference between the team from last year compared to this year. They have the players this year who have the speed and aggression to get in there and win on the forecheck, and they didn't have those players last year. So it's one of the reasons that they're starting to win games like this. This again had a feeling of a game they would have lost last year,
Hmm.
and they won it. And they won it in kind of the solid effort we saw against the Vancouver Canucks on Sunday. Same kind of solid, really gritty team effort, and I really liked seeing it.
Lose by one at even strength, score two on the power play to beat him by one. Same formula as Sunday night.
Oh, is that right?
But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's funny, because all those guys that you mentioned, almost Nygaard, Sheehan, um, Russell, Granlund, Haas, all of them had zero shots on net.
They did, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Only Chason of that bunch had a couple shots, and I think they both came on the power play.
Yeah.
But anyway, they weren't generating shots, but they were generating some zone time. And there was one shift in the second period where they had the puck in LA zone for a good, it seemed like a minute and 15 seconds, where they were
Yeah.
just cycling, and LA couldn't get out, and they were just winning race after race to the loose pucks, and just cycling the boards, going round to the point to point, around the boards again, and just tiring out the Kings defenders in their end of the ice. And then they finally went off. One thing I noticed after that, and it's something that's changed in hockey in this city, because I can tell you back in the day, when I was an everyday season ticket holder, a line would have a shift like that, and when they did go to the bench, they get a huge ovation for their shift. And tonight it was just dead silence. I don't understand it. Like, I mean, do you have to score a goal to get a cheer now or what? I mean, they did everything right for a solid minute. And they
I
worked
didn't.
their butt off. I mean, I don't know what more you want as I mean, the fans, I don't want to criticize the fans. It would be nice if they got into it a little bit more and just some of the flow of play stuff like that. The
It's
line
hard
has a
to.
great shift. Cheer.
I
So
wasn't
hard.
there, so I'm not gonna comment on that because I wasn't there, and so maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I mean, I don't think the call
I'm not
like
wrong.
I'm gonna sound every one of my 57 years now, Bruce, and I'm gonna say I don't think the Coliseum has sounded the same, and the Oilers hockey has been the same since they were in the Coliseum and before they put in those luxury boxes, which changed the feel of the arena, the kind of the common man feel of the arena, and also the acoustics of the arena were changed dramatically. That arena used to shake. It used
Mm-hmm.
to shake, literally shake, before they put in those luxury boxes, and that feeling ended to me. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that's all I'm going to say about that. Your bad thing, Bruce.
Oh, yeah. My bad thing was uh, in the third period protecting the lead, uh, and the Oilers did lots right, but they didn't really play the 200-foot game. And one of the reasons was they could never get the puck deep into LA territory. You know, that's the old Smitty thing. You interview him and you say, get pucks deep, and it's an old an
Up the
oldie but a
boards.
goodie.
Yeah,
Oldie but
up.
a goodie. Get
Yeah,
pucks deep. But there
don't
was
pass up the
like
middle of the ice.
several times in a row where the Oilers came through the neutral zone fine, but they couldn't get the damn thing over the blue line. The pass would get picked off, or the shoot in wouldn't go far enough, or somebody'd fumble it just as they were coming to the blue line. And so instead of making LA play the 200-foot game, they only had to play the 150-foot game, and they didn't have to defend very much either in stretches of that third period. And there was, I mean, the finish of the game was a lot more white knuckle than it needed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to see them clamp down on that. I mean, they're playing, uh, let's face it, an inferior opponent that's lost now 10 road games in a row and scored only 13 goals, and the Oilers were just hanging on for dear life at the end. It seemed like, and it was battles at both blue lines really, and just possession battles that I mean, Anze Kopitar, I mean, that guy was all over the ice, and you got to give credit where due. He's a fantastic player. Him and Doughty, I mean, between them, I don't know how many keep ins they had, but it was a lot.
It's too bad the Oilers. It's with the salary structure of the way the NHL is now. You could see the Kings like in a rebuilding mode trading one of those guys, but it doesn't make sense to trade for another team to trade for one of those guys and give up quite a bit because their cap hit is so high. You just can't do it. They're just
Double indemnity.
yeah. My bad thing. I thought for the first 10 minutes of the third, the Oilers were actually pretty good, and then it kind of came apart. And the play where it really started happening was I can't remember how it developed, except that Draisaitl in the neutral zone, Draisaitl, and I don't really fault him too much. He was just being overly aggressive on the play, and he got way out of position in the neutral zone, got
Was
beat in the
this the
neutral
goal?
zone. Yeah, this is the goal. He
He
got way out
tried
of.
to he tried to pass. He tried to make a 1 foot pass to Gagne, and they malfunctioned at the junction. This is one of the plays I was referring to where they couldn't get the puck
Yeah,
deep. The simple play was just to wire it in behind quick, and
but then on the check too, Bruce, he was he got out of position. And then they got across the blue line. And who's open for the point shot? But Dreisaitl's man, essentially, because he was high man out there. And point shot goes off the glove into down on the ground and down on the ice and into the net. So Draisaitl, he wasn't cautious or smart defensively on that play. And as you say, he didn't get the puck in deep. So I don't remember that part of the play, but he just it reminded me of a play a few weeks ago with McDavid um, in the third period, not defending on a rush down the wing where he couldn't thwart the player coming in over the blue line. And these are two such fantastic hockey players, obviously, easily the two top attackers in the NHL right now, or the two top attackers. There's some other really good ones, Pasternak and McKinnon and others, but such fantastic offensive players. Generally speaking, decent defensive hockey players, sometimes really great defensive hockey players, but now and then in the third period. And again, we saw it, Bruce, in the last seconds of the game where McDavid and
Yeah.
Draisaitl were out there, and they couldn't get the puck out. Nurse couldn't get the puck out, and another grade A chance. So these are such fantastic hockey players.
Yeah.
It's almost like they have to do a little bit of rewiring still, in terms of shutting it. Like when they go into shutdown defensive mode, they got to get that Jacques Lemaire 1975 going on. Not the Jacques Lemaire 1969, but
Right.
Lemaire, the defensive player, who becomes suddenly a maniac, determined never to let a goal against in crunch time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Draisaitl and McDavid need, and probably will get.
Or they need to become Gretzky. When the other team pulls their goalie, say, "Great, fine, score, get it over with."
That'd be good.
Jesus, I can't believe how many times I've had what seemed like a sure empty net goal, and one of those two guys has somehow messed it up. Like you think this is a gift now, right? Tonight it was
5 times this
Draisaitl.
year, 4 times this year.
Draisaitl had Archibald free for the walk-in, and somehow he missed him with the pass. I mean, how many passes did he miss in a game? Like one? No, that one. You know. And anyway, I mean, they've only got one empty net goal all year. It's why they got so many one-goal wins. Is that they can never get the pressure reliever.
Gretzky never missed a chance, Bruce. How many empty net points did he get?
50. He had 50 empty net goals before the end of his career. He actually scored his 50th empty net goal. 50 empty net goals. And you know what?
1 in 15, or like, what is that of his goals? Like,
yeah, it's a substantial percent. 1 in 18 of his goals.
Yeah.
But more to the point, in those games, his team was 50 wins, 0 losses. They always won those games, right? I mean, they put the game away, and I'm sure there was a couple times where he made a mistake going for it, and they came back and put it in. But just execute. You need your star players to execute, and they had the play you mentioned with 5 seconds to go, where both guys kind of missed a key defensive read or play. And there was that one last chance, and thankfully, it didn't go in.
Yeah. I don't know if you hear that clicking in the background, but it's my son madly tapping away at his video game. So, hopefully that doesn't mean.
So anyway, Leon, you mentioned Leon. Leon's now -10 in his last 10 games.
Well, there you go. That's why I've mentioned him a few times as my bad thing.
They mentioned him as being agitated by it, but he needs to be agitated by it. He needs to start with a little bit of its decision making and a little bit of its, some of it's luck, not getting the saves, or whatever. But man, -10 in 10 games. Now, thankfully, he scored about 10 points on the power play in those games. But those are the guys that are supposed to put you ahead in the game, or at least break even on the even strength part.
Yeah. They got to make some kind of blood oath not to make no more major defensive mistakes in the third period between Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers. Then their playoff success is sealed. All right, my number is going to be 9. That the Oilers had 11 grade A chances. Connor McDavid made a major contribution to 9 of them.
Wow!
So
Incredible.
He is a fantastic hockey player.
Yeah, he had a good game tonight, didn't he?
He sure did. He was flying out there. Did you just get the 1 point? Did you get 1 point? Yeah. Let me see here.
Oh, yeah, I got an assist. I got the assist on the second power play goal. Draisaitl and Chason had 2 points each.
Yeah, Chason had 2.
Neil had the other 1 point.
Yeah. What a fantastic hockey player. He's just, we should relish these games. It's kind of hard to, because we're on the edge of our seats with, this is whether they're going to win or lose and whether they're going to come together as a team or not. Like, these are all still open questions. And, we don't have that comfort of cheering for a juggernaut yet. So, the joy of McDavid on the team, I think, has been somewhat tarnished by that anxiety. But nonetheless, it's coming together. And in games like this, where the Oilers are kind of finding a team game, finding more than they have since I can remember, role players to play roles and are starting to relish those roles and succeed in those roles. it's easier to see, kind of on that background of competence. The brilliance of McDavid stands out even more, I think, and can be appreciated. And I'm not quite as nervous about the game, and I can just really relish how he does. So tonight was one of those nights. What a fantastic hockey player.
Yeah, he's all of that. Skating real well these days.
What is your number?
Well, it's a composite number, 9 out of 26. This is the Oilers' record of faceoffs in the defensive zone, and first concern is 26 faceoffs in their own end of the ice. Like they iced the puck numerous times. As I mentioned, Koskinen froze it a few times, but they were trapped in their own end and not winning the draws. I mean, that's only 35% of the draws won. So LA established a lot of possession directly off the draw, and Edmonton spent
Whew.
a lot of time, trying to keep the puck to the outside and generally succeeding. But that's a big part of the reason LA outshot Edmonton so badly, 36-20. Um, so
Oh, that's what the shots were. That's
yeah,
interesting because the
30.
grade
Yeah,
A
the scoring
chances.
chances weren't, but the shot,
Yeah.
the possession time the ice was generally tilted uh, towards Edmonton's territory, and I'm feeling like this. My game day post today, I actually got one thing right because I mentioned how LA was, you know, getting outscored by a 2-1 margin on the road, even though they were generating the majority, 55% of the shots on the road. Like, that's a pretty good possession number, 55%. And of course, some of it was driven by the fact, just like tonight, they would be trailing in a lot of those games and trying to come back. But that's what happened again tonight. Was LA really did have the lion's share of the shots, and especially at even strength. So it was kind of a hang-on Harvey game for the Oilers at home against a bottom feeder. So we'll take the 2 points. It kind of reminds me of the game they beat Detroit early in the season, 2-1. It was the same thing. They led 2-0 early, and then it was just hang on and grit out the win rather than finding some way to put it away. And so anyway, yeah, you do take the 2 points and move on. I'm just getting that now. 28 shots at even strength to 15, so much the same. LA was really getting the significant majority of the shots, and
Yeah.
Koskinen was he was busy even when he wasn't making great saves. Like he didn't have a lot of time to relax out there.
No, he did not. Yeah, Riley Sheahan, 5 face-off wins, 13 face-off losses.
Yeah,
Most of that against Kopitar. So,
yeah.
but I thought Riley Sheahan had a pretty good game, like without the puck. He was defending well, but I guess
Was
he had a lot
without
of,
the puck a lot.
without the puck a lot. Okay. Well, Bruce, the game grades are up, and I'm going to add this podcast to it right away.
Sweet.
When's our next game?
Our next game is two
Sunday.
days from now. We're playing every even number date for the foreseeable, right up to the 20th. So
Okay.
Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday. They go right on through to 20th and then 21st. They play back to back at home.
Who are they playing Sunday?
They are playing Buffalo,
Ooh,
and then they finish the homestand against Carolina.
those are two scary sounding games to me. Buffalo, like, teams that,
Both those teams have given Edmonton all kinds of trouble in this barn.
which teams haven't.
Oh,
So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Be nice to go on another little winning streak here. Wouldn't it? That'd be very, very sweet. But 18-13, I'll take that.
well,
That's 18 wins, 13 losses. 5 games above real 500. So way to go, Oilers. So far,
there
so
you go,
good.
Oilers. Yeah, we'll take the wins as they come, and they're. I mean, to put the silver lining on tonight, they won a game without Ryan Nugent Hopkins and Zach Cassian in the lineup, and those wins are never going to be easy. They got hopefully we'll have those guys both back pretty soon, but so far they missed the two of them for 3 games and managed somehow to win 2 of the 3. So I guess that's very much good news.
Alrighty. Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening as well. We've got, as I've said many times, we've got the wisest fans in the world listening to this podcast, and it's a great deal of fun to converse with them daily on Twitter and interact with them. in that way. And
Cheers.
in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.